everyone, and welcome to our 4020R9 webinar. We are really glad to have you with us today. In this session, we walk you through some of the latest features from our recent release, things the 4D teams have been excited to build and that we hope you enjoy discovering. This webinar is a real team effort. A lot of people work together to bring you a dynamic session with plenty of live demos to show what you can do with 4D today. So sit back, get comfortable, and let's explore what 4020R9 has to offer. Let's see what's on the agenda. So we will start with 4D Qodly Pro, where we have some exciting news and demos to share. Next, we'll explore what's new for developers, diving into the latest enhancements to the 4D development environment. Then, with a new deployment feature, especially for macOS. We'll wrap up with the new capabilities in 4D View Pro, sorry. And finally, we will finish with a new part about AI for 4D and a special sneak peek at the end of this webinar. During this presentation, we will show you some demos you can really see, so that you can really see these features in action, giving you a clear view of their functionality and potential. Before we get started, I want to encourage you to ask questions at any time during the presentation in the Q&A section, and not in the chat, please. We have a full house to answer your question. So without further ado, let's jump into the first section. And Mathieu, it's up to you.
So hi, everyone, and thank you for being here once again. And let's start with news about 4D Qodly Pro. So last time we announced that 4D Qodly Pro beta was over. 4D Qodly Pro is production ready, this is clear. With your 4D Partner Silver contract, you can develop Qodly pages without limitation, and you can deploy them together with your 4D app on your existing 4D server. Think of it as another access point for your end users. You already provide them desktop forms in client server, for example, but now you can propose them nice, sleek, modern, and responsive web pages. Your business logic remains the same. Your data remains the same. So if you have a project and you don't know where to start, you can book a call with our dedicated Qodly customer success team. They have all the answers you need. And you have here the link on this slide here that I show you. Also, don't be surprised today, you will see a lot of demos of 4D features illustrated with Qodly pages. This means that Qodly pages are just another kind of forms, just as desktop forms. This is perhaps the most important information to take away with you after this webinar. Your 4D code can be used with both 4D desktop forms and Qodly pages. You can now propose your end user to use your application either through desktop forms or web forms. All right. But even if it's production ready, our work is not over. And we continuously improve 4D and 4D Qodly Pro. I wanted today to give you insights on two important features that we are currently under heavy development. The first one is about order events, and it will give you an absolute control on your entity's lifecycle. They will go further than classic triggers, and they will perfectly blend in your order data classes. The second one is that 4D Qodly Pro continues to evolve, and the next important feature we will ship is Qodly pages localizations. We're indeed working on an efficient and user-friendly way to internationalize any 4D Qodly Pro application and ensure your pages layout smoothly hosts several languages. So I won't detail both of these features right now. We will have future webinars for that, but we wanted to share with you what we were currently working on about this. So stay tuned for the next news to come about this. Next one. And as we continue, we have more news about Qodly Pro. Thomas Moll will host a 40-minute webinar demonstrating how to quickly and easily add web browser-based forms to your 4D business application with Qodly Pro. And really, you don't want to miss this one. But let's not finish this Qodly Pro news without a demo. On top of the UI components shipped by default with Qodly Pro, Qodly technology allows you to build your own. For this, you will need some React.js skills, of course, but you can also benefit from custom components we already share online on GitHub. The main takeaway for you is that Qodly technology gives you this possibility of extending your UI. And this is also an area where our customer success team can help you with. So today, I wanted to share with you a quick demo showing you how easy it is to grab and use some of those custom components in your project. And this is a demo time. So I will show you in this little demonstration how to leverage custom components in a Qodly Pro application. So here for the example, I retrieved from the internet a JSON file containing Space Invaders location in Paris, in the city of Paris mostly, so with the name, latitude and longitude. I've prepared this structure here with name, identifier and so on, and I wrote this little piece of code to import them in my database. So I execute the program and I check in my data explorer that I have properly loaded this list with all the coordinates. So let's now open Qodly Studio. And the first thing I will do is to create a page called list. And here, very simply, I will put a title, invaders list. I decorate it a little bit, but that's not the point of the demonstration. And I paste here a drag and drop, a data table. I create my Qodly source invaders. It's an entity selection, and the data class is Space Invader. I put it on my data table, and then I will map those columns. So you already know that. I showed that in the past several times already. Once I did so, I can preview, and here, okay, the data is there, no problem. That's it. But as I have latitude and longitude, what I want is to display everything in a map. So I duplicate my page, create a page called map. So the title now is Invaders Map, and here I remove this list because instead I want a map. I clearly notice that here I don't have any map component provided by default in Qodly Studio, but I will upload it as a new component. So here, when you open that, you have the link to learn how to create your own custom component if you know a little bit of React. But here we'll use an already prepared component that I will find in the appropriate GitHub site, GitHub repository. And you have here a Qodly map component. So you get here the documentation, but here we download the component itself. Back in the studio, I can now upload my custom component. I install it and I reload my Qodly Studio. That's it, and now I have this custom component loaded in my library. I drag and drop it. I will adapt a little bit the width and the height of this component. And now I map the invader's Qodly source, so the same as previously. Remember, I duplicated my page. I specify here the latitude and longitude fields of my data class, and for the tooltip I put the name. Okay, I set some more things in the component. So for the zoom 50, it seems okay. We'll show all markers, and I adapt here the group distance for the grouping of items, but they are very grouped, so you will see that they will be grouped anyway in the map. And for the icon, a little rocket seems appropriate. Now I can run this page, and you can see that I have my Space Invaders location on the map, so I can go and chase them in the streets of Paris. Okay, we're going to add a little cherry on the cake. I add here a text component, and the idea will be to show the name of the selected invader in the map. So I will name that selected invader. Put the name here. And in fact, I will simply here create the entity I will use. Invader. I create it, and I will map it to the map component. I will associate it to the map component. Just before I put the name here, just by drag and drop it. And here in the map, in the current position, I select the invader entity. That's it. Now when I run this page, you can see that the selected invader is put in the entity, so you can use your map as a selector. All right, that's nice. Let's go a little bit deeper now. I want to create a landing page for these two pages, so I will create a main page, and with a title here, my Space Invaders map. I decorate it a little bit, center, and the size of the font. I use here a page loader that will be used to load either or other page. By default, it will open on the list page. You see it works. And I want to use a little pop-up menu to switch between both pages. But this pop-up menu is not available by default in Qodly Studio, but don't worry. You have something quite appropriate in our library here of custom component. So same principle, you have the doc and you can download the component itself and upload it here. The studio reloads and you get now a new icon in your library of components. You drop it, and here the idea will be to customize a little bit this pop-over menu, so we can give it some radius and some color. Let's put it blue, and the text white. Great. The title will be my menu. Very original. And now the idea here, I will display the menu itself in the canvas. You see here it's a little bit outside of the canvas. It's because of the alignment. So I can say here that I want it bottom left. That's better. And here I can do whatever I want. I could put icons, could put buttons and so on, but very simply here I will just create two entries, one for the list and the other for the map. For the list entry, let's put here a navigation event to the list page, and it should navigate in the page loader below. I will copy this event and just paste it for the other menu item, just like that, and I just have to select the map page now. All right, just to be clear, I will change the cursors of everything, so I can select here the cursor property of each item and put it to pointer. This list, I want to make it a little bit nicer. I will put a width of 400, and I can adapt it a little bit. For example, I will make it a little bit more transparent, and here I will give it a border so I can see it a little bit more, and that's it. But really you're free of what you want to do with this area. Now I will unselect this on my canvas, and I'm ready. I can just preview everything in the studio now, and this menu allows me to switch from the map to the list. So that was a quick example of what you can do with those two custom components, but there are dozens of other custom components ready to use, and it's just to give you the idea that you won't be blocked with the components that are shipped with Qodly Studio. You can build your own if you have some skills in React, or we can help you with our customer success team, with perhaps also professional services. We can help you build your own if you don't find what you need in the default library. So that's it. Thank you very much. So I propose you to continue with developer news. And up to you, Bérengère.
Yes, thank you, Mathieu. It was a really great demo. So now let's talk about 4D NetKit. From the beginning, its goal has been to make OAuth 2, Google, and Microsoft 365 integration easier for 4D desktop applications. And that's why it includes in its own little web server. It takes care of the back and forth with the OAuth 2 services for you. But if your app is mainly or only web-based, you might not need that extra web server at all. So good news, starting with 4D V20 R9, you can now have the OAuth 2 responses sent straight to your main web server. No need to rely on NetKit's internal web server anymore. So how does it work? In fact, if the redirect URI you use matches your host web server's port, or if you just don't specify any port, then NetKit will automatically use your main server for the callback. If the port is different, it will fall back to using its own internal server, web server, just like before. To make this work, you will need to set up a route in your HTTP handlers.json file, as explained in the blog post. But why is it useful? In fact, it simplifies your setup because you don't have to deal with an extra web server or port or anything. You just keep full control over HTTPS and domain handling. And you avoid exposing any internal server that you might not need. To stay with 4D NetKit, in fact, oh yes, sorry. To stay with 4D NetKit, we will talk about a first step towards the simplified Google and MS365 calendars integration. With the new 4D NetKit functions introduced in the 4D 20R9, you will be able to seamlessly integrate Google and MS365 calendar data directly into your 4D applications. This means that we can authenticate using US2 and then easily fetch calendars and events and making it really simple to build the features like event listings, scheduling, or reminders. We made the API as consistent as possible across both platforms for you to save time and reduce complexity while ensuring you stay secure and scalable. And this is just the beginning because we plan to extend this integration further, opening up even more opportunities for your applications. And now we will see a demo from Fabrice. So as we said earlier, we're going to show you this feature using a Qodly page. So yes, we know you could totally do this demo, your eyes closed with a classic 4D form, but this time we're switching it up a bit. Don't panic. That what Fabrice is about to show you is pure 4D code. No weird new language, no need to learn ancient rules, just the same code you already know and love. And that's really what we want to highlight that you can take your existing 4D logic and reuse it directly in a Qodly page. Easy, clean, and no headache. So let's take a look with Fabrice.
Hello everyone. In this demo, we're going to retrieve the calendar of a user logged into their Microsoft account using 4D NetKit and then display it in a calendar interface built with Qodly Studio. First, let's launch the OAuth2 authentication interface to connect to the account whose calendar we want to display. Now that we're authenticated, let's open the debugger to see how we can retrieve events from the calendar linked to this account. To do this, we use the new calendar.getEvents function, which retrieves all events associated with the calendar. Here, we define the time period for which we want to retrieve events for specifying the start date and the end date. When we run the command, we get the list of events where we can see details like the end date, the start date, or the subject. Note that events are paginated, so we need to make sure we've resaved all of them by checking the isLastPage attribute. Here, we can see that isLastPage is false, so we fetch the next page using the next function. We then append the new data to the current list. And now that isLastPage is true, all that's left is to send the event data to the user interface. And there you have it. Our calendar is now filled with events for the week, thanks to the 4D NetKit and just a few lines of code. Thank you all, and see you soon.
Now we will go next with the Dependency Manager, also known as the Component Manager sometimes, continues to evolve. And that's still true in 4D20R9. In fact, one of the standout improvement is the new follow 4D version rule. This features allows your component or ours hosted on GitHub to automatically follow the version of your 4D project. No more manual checking or version mismatches. The right component version is selected for you. Less manual work if you don't need to search for a compatible version anymore. Fewer compatibility issues. Dependencies align automatically when you upgrade or downgrade 4D. More stability. Everything stays in sync, even across versions changes. At 4D, we have already implemented this system in our official components on GitHub with properly tagged releases that the Dependency Manager can resolve automatically. And what's the best part? In fact, you can do the same with your own custom components. Just follow the same tag naming convention, whether it's an LTS or a release version, and your component will integrate seamlessly into the update logic. In short, you focus on building great features, and the Dependency Manager ensures everything stays compatible. Yes, a major quality of life improvement in 4D20R9 for component development. In fact, until now, when you worked on your own component, meant constantly switching between the host and the component environments, reloading projects or restarting just to test the small changes. In fact, this is over. With this release, you can now edit and debug shared components, methods, and class directly from the host project, as long as the component includes its source code. When you double-click to open any shared method or class from the component, you just like native project code. When debugging, stepping into a component method now opens the debugger instantly. And you can make changes and run them live. No need to reload the component or restart the host project. This even works with the client-server setup. So as long as you enable development mode and have right access to the component files, and it's a big step towards a more fluid, modern, and productive 4D development experience. And this is only the beginning, because soon you will be able to manage even more parts of your components, like forms, directly from the host project. So we have a demo for this, and let's see how this works in action.
For this demonstration, I'm going to be talking about a new feature in 20R9 that allows the developer to be able to make modification directly to a component source code from a host database or application. First, I'm going to show you my simple component. Okay, I'm launching it with 20R9. And let's have a look at what's available inside of this component. So there are 4 methods that is there. I'm going to run one of them just to show you what it looks like when the code is executed. So in this method, I'm going to be able to define a print setting and save it for later usage. Okay, in this case, I'm not going to go further than this. Let's go ahead and cancel that and quit the application. Okay, And again, this component source is right here. I'm going to open up another application that's right next to it. In fact, this application is an empty one. We're going to use it as a host application. Okay. Now, first I need to install the component. I'm going to go to project dependency and add this component as a local component. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and restart the application. All right, you can see that the component is here. Let's have a look at the list of the component methods exposed to this host application. They're all there. Well, let's have a look at the component method in action. So I'm creating a new method. Okay, and I'm going to call that a component method here. So let's try. Okay, you get the same exact behavior. So let's suppose I want to make some modification to this component. I can immediately right click and choose go to definition. That component method is open up. At this time I can make modification. For example, I can add more data like date. Okay, or make some other modification of the term that we use here. Please name your print setting instead of define. Okay, close that, run it again. You'll be able to see that the change has been made directly to the component and is immediately reflect the behavior of its functionality. You can also double click on any of these methods to open up a component method that has been shared with the host, and you can modify any of these methods, including the method properties. Okay. Again, this feature is only available for project mode application and component. So for those of you who are using binary, you have to convert everything into project mode in order to utilize this functionality. Another important fact is that not only is available, this feature is available in a single user, you can also take advantage of this feature through client and server development. In the project mode, we allows you to activate development mode through the connect dialog, where you'll be able to share the exact source code and development content. So if you do that, you'll be able to get the same behavior through client server development as well. Okay, that's it.
Yes, thank you so much, Ad. So yes, I will let the mic to Basma for the next features.
Hi, everyone. So with 4D 20R9, we're not just updating, we're evolving how you write and manage code. Now, let's talk deprecation warnings. For the first time, 4D actively flags deprecated language elements, commands, constants, and more the moment you use them. Like literally, there is no more wondering if you're building on outdated ground. Now, sure, you can still type them manually, but now code compilation won't offer them, not in 4D's editor and not in Visual Studio Code. Now, that silence is actually intentional because it's your signal to move forward. We've also expanded the command name command as so you can check programmatically whether a command is deprecated or not. And that means you can finally audit and upgrade your code base with real insight, not just some guesswork. And this shift isn't about just disruption. It's actually about progress, like cleaner, future-ready code that aligns with 4D best practices. And if you need time to adjust, the compilation settings let you disable the warnings because you're in control. We're just giving you the tools to move faster and smarter. Now, moving on to labels, the label wizard in 4D 20R9 got a serious boost, not just in terms of usability, but actually in security. Now, you now get a dedicated formula button and menu option to insert formulas directly into your label patterns. You can now draw the area, write the formula in the formula editor, validate it, and you're done. It's as smooth as it sounds. Editing is just as fast. Like double click to open the editor, you can tweak it and move on. But here is the real win. We're not just helping you work faster, we're actually protecting your logic. Thanks to the formula editor built-in command filtering, disallowed or risky commands and methods are automatically blocked, preventing potentially malicious formulas right at the source. Now, that's what I call security baked in. No extra steps, no added complexity. And the results, labels are not only functional, but safe and reliable, all while simplifying your development process. Now, let's talk TCP and why 4D20R9 is a game changer. Now, in the last release, 4D20R8, we introduced TCP connection. So you could build client-side connection inside 4D. But that was just half the story. Now, with TCP Listener, you can create full TCP servers directly in 4D, managing incoming connections, event handling, and more. Now, even better, both the TCP connection and the TCP listener share a unified class structure, which means that we have now one consistent interface for both sides of the connection, less cognitive overhead, and more reusable code. Now, it's time to set up your callbacks on connection, on data, on error, and you've got a fully functional TCP app built natively. And more, this Duo actually gives you the power to build custom, real-time, and client-server apps with less duplication, more flexibility, and complete control. It's actually a massive leap forward and a strong modern alternative to 4D internet commands. Now, let's take a closer look with a demo. Over to you, Nicholas.
Hello, everyone. During the previous webinar, I talked about TCP connection, the TCP connection class that performs TCP connections to distant servers. I mostly focused on this HDI, but today I will speak about TCP Listener, which allows you to create TCP servers. As it's more complicated, I will use more code examples and I will dive into the technical details. First of all, I want to show you this image that comes from the blog post and that explains how TCP Listener works. So we can see on the left a TCP client, so a client who wants to connect with TCP to your 4D application, and here your TCP server, which is running on 4D. By TCP server, I don't mean 4D server. It can be a 4D client or 4D remote with a TCP server on it, listening on a specific port with a TCP listener. So first of all, the client application will start a connection to your TCP server. The TCP listener will be called, especially the on-connection callback. The on-connection callback can return an option object that will be used to create a TCP connection. And this TCP connection will be then used to handle the network communication with this specific client. So for each client reaching your TCP server, your TCP listener, you will have one TCP connection handling the communication. Now, let me show you how it is handled inside the HDI. So inside the HDI, you have this house device server class, which is using a TCP listener, as you can see, listening on a specific port. When someone connects on this port, the unconnection callback is called. Here, this unconnection callback returns a house device server connection, which is an option object with all the callbacks needed for TCP connection. So, for example, on connection, on shutdown, on data, on error, and on terminate. So, by returning this option object, the house device server, and especially the on connection function, will create a TCP connection which will handle all the communication with the TCP client. Just a small thing, you can also choose to return null if you don't want to accept the connection, if you want to block the connection. For example, you have the IP address inside the $event parameter, you can decide that this IP address is not allowed to connect to your TCP server, so you can refuse it by returning null to the returning null to the on connection callback. So I hope it's a small presentation, but I hope it helps you understand how to use the new TCP listener class. If you want more information, this HDI is accessible in 4D Depot, and you have a link to it directly in the blog post. Thank you very much.
Now let's switch to one of the most important updates in 4D 20R9. It's how $4D interacts with embedded web areas. Now, before this release, if you exposed $4D, you exposed all your project's methods, an obvious risk and a headache for modular design. Now you define the rules, and with the new WA set context command, you can control exactly which functions are exposed, either as tightly scoped class methods or selected projects methods. Now, if you want structure, you have to create a class like WA functions with specific methods like next, previous, or current. You want control, only those methods are actually exposed in your web area and nothing else. And if you want safety, now unattended access is gone. Your internal logic stays locked down. You can even wrap projects methods in a formula-based objects context, and JavaScript now calls what you want it to, and only what you want it to. No side effects and no surprises. In short, modular, secure, and ridiculously easy to maintain. Back to you, Mathieu.
Let's switch to OTP Session Token. It's a quite interesting topic. Today's web applications often require secure interactions with third-party systems. For example, validating an email address usually requires to send an email and ask the end user to click on a link from his mail client. In this case, you do not control which email client or which web browser will be used by this user. Other use cases we can think of are interactions with some specific APIs, involving redirection or callback to your application, or also simply providing a way for your end user to switch from a device to another, just using a link you generate. In 4D 20R9, we introduced the create OTP function on the session object to handle such workflows securely. You just have to create a one-time passcode, OTP, tied to a specific session. This OTP can be used in a URL you generate for the user to open or for a callback. When this URL will be used, the server will safely retrieve the original session and won't consume any extra license. Of course, this OTP can be used only once. This improves security by avoiding man-in-the-middle risks and ensure continuity in the user experience, even across complex multi-step processes. Whether it's clicking on a link in a validation email or receiving a callback from an external app, you can now safely restore the original web session without consuming a store license or exposing sensitive sessions identifier. So to illustrate this, we also have a demo from Marie-Sophie.
This demo shows how to generate a session OTP, a one-time passcode, and how a web session can be retrieved thanks to this OTP. I'm going to run a very simple demo with 4D Qodly Pro to show this. So first I open 4D Qodly Pro. I have prepared a demo page. I open this page. There are a title, 2 text components, and a button. Before starting, let's quickly test this page. So it works fine, we can go on. So let's go back to the page and I select the button. When clicking this button, a function is called. This is the authentify function of the data store class. So let's have a look at the code. I open the data store class. The authentify function is the entry point into an application to authenticate users. That's why some privileges are put in the session by calling the setPrivilege function. For this demo, I don't need specific privileges, I just put an empty privileges list. More details about authentication and privileges can be found on the blog in this blog post, for example, and also on this one. And more complete demos will be provided around this subject, which is different. So back to the code, and I also put a message in the session storage object. The message is hello demo. The code is not finished, so let's finish it together. I generate now an OTP corresponding to this session. There is a new create OTP function on the session object for that. The purpose of this short demo is that this function must return a link on this current demo page, and when we will run this link into another browser, then this current session will be retrieved. So let's build the link now in the code. I am working now with localhost, so this link corresponds to the Qodly demo page. And to have this current session retrieved, I add a parameter. I add the $4DSID parameter, and its value is the session OTP I just generated on the previous line. For the convenience of the demo, I copy this link into the passport. It's just for the demo. And finally, this link is returned as a result by the function. On the demo page, this result goes into the result source of the page. It is a source on the page. And it is displayed here in this text component. So now let's test again the page. I click on the button. Here is my result link, and I open now another browser, Safari for example. I could also open a private navigation window in the same browser. And I'm going to pass this link. Remember, it is copied in the passport, but before pasting the link, Let's check what is done when the demo page is loaded. So I select the page, open the contextual panel, and we see that the getSessionInfo function of the utilities singleton is called when the page is initialized. Let's check this function. I open the singleton. It simply returns the message put in the session, and I place a breakpoint there. This result is put in the info source of the page, and it is also displayed in this text component. So back to the demo, running into my second browser, into Safari, and this time I passed the link. And let's see what happens in 4D. I add the session object in the debugger. And surprise, the session where I generated the OTP is retrieved. We have the hello demo message, so we can go on with the test with Safari. The page is displayed and the session is retrieved. It's retrieved because I put the for the SID parameter here as a parameter in the URL, and its value is the OTP corresponding to the session I want to retrieve. So this is the end of the demo. I'll let you think about all the benefit it brings to cover so many use cases in your web apps. Thank you for attending.
And let's switch to the deployment features. All right. There's only one deployment feature with this release. Starting with macOS Sequoia, Apple now uses an application's UUID, not just its name, to manage privacy and security permissions, such as local network access. In the past, all built for the applications shared the UUID of the 4D volume desktop or 4D server. This caused problems. If multiple apps had the same UUID, macOS would confuse their permissions. Now, in 4D 20R9, this is over. Every built for the app now gets its own unique UUID, generated automatically based on the app ID and the 4D source version. So no manual actions is required from you. It's fully automatic. You have a better privacy handling. Apps are uniquely identified by macOS, and it's compatible with Build 4D. For advanced use cases, you can still read and modify the UIDs using file.getappinfo and file.setappinfo. That gives you full control if needed. The bottom line is that your apps are now safer, more predictable, and better integrated with macOS security systems without changing anything in your workflow. All right. That's the end of the deployment section. And let's proceed with 4D View Pro. I continue. Working with 4D View Pro often means importing complex documents, and many of them include custom functions. The challenge is that knowing when all those functions are finished before moving on to actions like exporting, printing, or saving. In 4D 20R9, the import commands, so VP import document, VP import from blob, import from object, they now delay their callback until all custom functions are fully resolved. This means you get reliable timing. When your callback runs, all formulas are done. No race conditions, no half-rendered exports. The benefits for you is that it works great in off-screen areas, especially for automated workflows. Custom callback logic lets you trigger exports only when the document is fully ready. And it also applies to the VP flush commands, which now supports a callback formula triggered after asynchronous calculations. Bottom line, your For the View Pro workflows are now more predictable, especially when working with documents containing dynamic or custom or heavy calculations. All right, we are running speedy because we are approaching an exciting part of the presentation. And I'm thrilled now to let Bérengère present you our newest AI features.
In fact, we do not have today a specific agenda entry for the Write Pro, but in fact, for the Write Pro get a major addition in 4020R9 with its new writing assistant. It's a good opportunity to share with you the replay of Roland Lanuzel webinar detailing all the 4D Write Pro new features since 4D20. This session also covers the writing assistant represent you today. Writing just got a major upgrade for the Write Pro. Like I said, with 4020R9, we now integrate an AI-powered writing assistant right inside your document editor. Whether you need to rephrase, correct, or summarize, or even translate, AI is here to help you in real time, directly in the 4D environment. To activate it, you just simply set your OpenAI API key using wsetAI key command. Once configured, a new AI button appears in the Import/Export tab, giving instant access to AI tools. So what can you do? In fact, you can chat with AI to generate ideas, fix grammar, or rewrite content. Use predefined prompts like summarize, translate, check grammar, or rewrite. Choose how to insert the AI response, raw, style, or just copy it. You also get a request history, so you can easily revisit past prompts and response, and insert content where you need without losing any track. But why use it inside 4D instead of switching from 4D to ChatGPT, for example? In fact, everything stays in the same environment, so you don't need to switch between apps anymore. You can interact directly with 4D Write Pro content, no copy-paste to no format lost. And future improvements are on the way, and we're eager to get your feeling about it and how it should evolve, of course. In short, this is more than just ChatGPT in a document. It's a fully integrated assistant designed for 4D developers and users, making your writing process faster, smarter, and easier. So we now have a demo from Vanessa.
Hello everyone! We have integrated a writing assistant into 4D Write Pro based on artificial intelligence. This allows you to generate text, reformulate a sentence, or check the grammar of your document. In the toolbar, the functionality is located in the Import/Export tab. To activate the button, you need to enter your OpenAI key using the wsetAI key component method. The button is now visible. Here the chat window. Let's type a prompt. Can you write me a sample specification for a school renovation? Send. The answer appears. Here, these various buttons allow you to insert text into the Write Pro area either in raw or styled format. You can also copy the content to the clipboard in either format, raw and styled. Now let's insert the text into the document. That's it. Make cleanup. OK. We have also a list of pre-configured prompts for the most common requests: summarize, translate, rewrite, and check the grammar. Let's select a paragraph and ask to rewrite the selection. Send. Here, a new proposition. Insert document, and the selected text is automatically replaced. Finally, when the last feature, useful feature, the history display on the side, it lets you easily return to previous requests. Thanks.
And now let me introduce a major step forward in 4D's AI journey. In fact, this is 4D AI Kit, our new component for integrating OpenAI capabilities directly in your 4D applications. With just a few lines of code, you can now bring AI-powered features like image tagging, content generation, moderation, and vision analysis straight into your app. No external tools needed. In fact, this component is a multi-provider support because it's not limited to OpenAI. Any provider with OpenAI compatible APIs works. Why you should use AI Kit inside 4D instead of an external scripts or platform? Because everything is natively integrated. Your AI workflows run in your 4D logic, UI, and context. You can benefit from full control over execution, user inputs, and data handling. And you can scale easily, secure API usage, and create a responsive user experience. With 30 ready-to-use classes, you can start building real use cases right away, and we'll be sharing even more business-oriented examples very soon. This is just the beginning. AI Kit is here to supercharge your apps with AI. These features is still in the early stages of development, of course, but you can expect major enhancements in future releases of 4D. And now to have a full overview, this is a demo from David.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today for this webinar. And now it's time to talk about a very exciting and timely topic, artificial intelligence in 4D development. We're going to explore how the new 4D AI Kit component empowers you to bring powerful AI features into your 4D application. But first of all, what exactly is 4D AI Kit? AI Kit is a built-in 4D component that gives you direct access to OpenAI models. And the great news is that it's not limited only to OpenAI models, as it also supports other AI providers that use an API format compatible with OpenAI formats, like, for example, Qwen or DeepSeek, that are following the OpenAI format. In short, with AI Kit, you can easily integrate features such as text generation, image analysis, visual content creation, real-time moderation, and much more. But let's explore a real-world use case to see just how powerful AI Kit can be. Imagine you need to tag images in your app to make them searchable. It can be a task that could take hours of manual work, but with AI Kit, it's completely automated. So the main concept is that images are analyzed using the vision models, and relevant keywords are generated and applied as tag. So let's see it in action right now. So here I've built a really nice application using Qodly, and I have a gallery of images here. So you'll notice there that all images are already tagged here. Clicking on any image reveals its top 6 tags here. And more importantly, you can search here and filter images instantly using these tags. So for example, if I want to have only pictures that have vibrant color, I just tap vibrant here. And I want also to have games. Okay, so here I have only one picture that have vibrant and game tags here. Okay, so let's delete that, and let's see how to add tags to a new picture here, just clicking on the add button. So with this screen we have 3 buttons here. Picture URL that works with picture URL. Here I can just use pictures that I have locally on my disk, and AI pictures we'll see just after how it works. So first of all, I'm gonna paste here picture URL that I have selected here, which is a really nice and cute picture, and I'm gonna paste that here. And as you can see, within seconds, AIKit allows you to analyze the image and generate relevant tags. You can also here upload some pictures. So I've prepared a nice picture here, really nice, and I'm gonna get my app and just drop it in the field, and again click on the upload and generate tags button. And as before, for the picture URL, I have here relevant tags that have been generated. And finally, the AI picture, which is the best part of the demo, so stay focused. Here you can create brand new images from a text prompt. So I'm gonna take a prompt that I've prepared here. Okay, coffee mug placed on a window still during a storm day. Okay, really nice picture will be generated, and I'm gonna paste my prompt, and there I'm gonna click again and just wait a few seconds to have a really nice picture already tagged with a tagged and picture that are going to be saved directly into my 4D database. Really nice picture. Okay, with really nice tags here that are available. So back to my search screen, I'm gonna scroll down to see if my picture have been saved. Yeah, so this one with the top 6 tags that are available on the top. Okay, nice, and this one. Okay, so this is really nice. And now let's have a look at a piece of code that I used to get tags from the API using the AIKit component. Okay, so as you can see, it's really easy to use AI API to get some data. So in the first line, I just create a new OpenAI client instance using my API key. Then I define the prompt that will be sent. Basically, it asks for 10 to 20 keywords, space separated with no extra text. And then I send the image using the vision model with the image URL and the prompt. And finally, I just extract and process the keywords from the AI response. And by the way, You can find the full demo on GitHub if you'd like to try it yourself. Now let's look at another very useful feature, which is automatic content moderation. So I'm going to launch a new demo to demonstrate the functionality in action. So open my project, recent moderation. Okay. And I'm gonna launch my app right here. Okay, so this app has been realized on Qodly also, and here you can imagine like a basic forum interface where here we have Elise Martin that posts a question about AI Kit. Basically, she asks if it can detect inappropriate content. And someone very nice is going to answer her with a very polite message here. So I'm gonna type yes, of course, and I'm gonna reply. And it's Luke Morrow, which is a very nice person that answer. And here you can see that nothing to flag, so the message is automatically validated. Now let's simulate a more hostile response. So I hate you, and click reply. And here, as you can see, Jean Dupont has been flagged, and AI Kit instantly detects and flags this message as inappropriate. So let's look at a piece of code again here. And yeah, we're gonna switch to the other one. I'm gonna close that. And again, the code here is quite simple. With 3 lines of code, you can moderate content and flag inappropriate messages. So first, like before, I just create a new OpenAI client instance with my API key here. Then here I send the forum comment to the moderation endpoint and get a moderation response using the AI Kit component. And finally, here I check if the content is flagged as inappropriate. Here it's just a boolean that I get to display if the content is appropriate or not. So in just 3 lines of code, you can protect your user and maintain a safer environment. So as you can see, AI Kit can be applied across a wide range of business scenarios, and it can be incredibly useful in areas such as, for example, invoice processing or inventory management, customer support or localization. So it's a very nice tool to get your app to the next level. So back to my presentation here. So the 4D AI Kit component is seamlessly integrated within the 4D environment, making it easy to add AI capabilities to your project. It supports multiple AI providers, giving you flexibility and choice. And with dozens and powerful ready-to-use classes, it accelerates development across a wide range of applications. So if you build something great with AI Kit, let us know, and we'd love to feature your work in a blog post, webinar, or customer success story. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the webinar.
Yes, it was a really, really great demo. Thank you, David. And so, Mathieu, I give you the last word for the last but not least topic.
Yes. Exactly. Thank you, Bérengère. Last part. You may have heard the term vectors in the context of AI or natural language processing. Without going into technical details, the key idea is that vectors will help you compare complex things like words, documents, or user profiles in a smart and mathematical way. At 4D, we are currently working on a new type of object to make this kind of analysis easier and more integrated into your apps. We won't dive deeper here today, but if this sparks your curiosity, check out the replay of the 4D method user group from March 29, where we go into more details. You will actually see in this replay how we imagine in the future a way for you to prompt your data with AI. And it's coming quite soon in 4D, but not today. Okay, let's continue then. As always, you can find more details in our blog. All the features you saw here today, all the demos are available on the blog. And as always, it's a great source of information. And that's the end of this webinar. Sorry, we are a little bit late. Perhaps next time we'll plan to a longer moment to share all these information with you. Thank you for joining us today. Always, we appreciate your feedback, and it helps us enhance our presentations for future webinars. So thank you once again, and have a fantastic week.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.